Okay, so here's the thing. I tried to film this already with the car off and the AC off with just the windows down, but it is too hot. It's too hot. I'm currently in Roseville, California, and it's July 4th. Today's the 4th of July, and I do have plans for today, so that's exciting. I didn't film yesterday because I didn't really have plans. I knew it was going to be a mostly driving, then get to my Airbnb, and I had to edit my TBR video. So I knew that that was going to take a good portion of the evening. I didn't do anything exciting yesterday, but I'll show you a little clip of what I did see on my journey. So yeah, as you'll have seen, it was 112 degrees yesterday going through Corning, and then when I got here to Roseville, it was about 111 degrees. So it was a sweltering day, and then I just wanted to get to my Airbnb and cool down, and then I just spent the evening working on my TBR video, which I will link up here if you didn't get a chance to check that out. And that's talking about all the books that I'm reading on this trip. So it's already 92 degrees, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm already... I'm hot. I'm from California originally, but I live in Washington now, so my body is not ready for this. And I put sunscreen on, so then of course I'm sweating extra because of the sunscreen. But I'm about to go get breakfast, and I just wanted to touch in with you since I didn't talk to you at all yesterday. I had a few changes. See if I can turn that down a little bit and it's not so loud. I had a few changes to my reading. I was going to start Killers of the Osage Moon by David Grann, but I listened to the audiobook of that, and I just wasn't enjoying, and I wasn't paying attention. I was zoning out quite a bit listening to that. And I don't think that it's necessarily the book's fault. I think it's just that I don't love listening to nonfiction books. I usually prefer to read nonfiction books with my eyes. And so I stopped reading that, and it's not going to work for my moon prompt anymore. So I had to figure out another book that would work for my moon prompt, a book with a moon on the cover and the title. And I decided to listen to The Girl Who Drank the Moon by... Who's this by again? I should know this, but I can't think. It's The Heat. It's The Heat. I will put it here so you'll be able to see it. And I'm loving the audiobook of this so far, and it seems like it's going to be a really fun book that I'm going to love. I just love the writing style. It is very quirky, but quirky in that fantastical way that's a lot of fun. And so I just think this is it might be a new favorite. It might be a new favorite middle grade book. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep listening to that. I have not physically picked up any book other than the comfort book, which I've been pretty good about picking that one up every morning and chatting with mom about it. So we've been doing our 20 pages a day, and we're on page 160, so we're making progress. But yeah, as far as Wuthering Heights or any other physical book, it's just not happening. It's just not happening, which I kind of expected to be the case. And I do know that I will pick up physical books on this trip. It's just that I've been kind of on the go. And the main portion of the driving aspect of this road trip was getting from Washington all the way down here to California. So I'm here now. It'll be a lot more meandering, and most of the time, actually, I'm going to be spending in the Bay Area, spending with family and friends, or in Los Angeles, spending time with my dad and my brother and my Aunt Yola. So, you know, it's not going to be a road trip the whole time. It's my California trip where I did a road trip to get here. And, you know, on the way back, I may stop at a few places. But now that I'm here in California proper, I'm going to start my Julia Morgan tour. And that's going to start today because I have until 3 p.m. to check into my hotel, which is a Julia Morgan building. It's called the Berkeley City Club. Very excited about that. So I'm going to go get breakfast now, and then I'm going to go take a look at some Julia Morgan buildings because I don't think I can go into any of of them. But the first one is in Sacramento. It's called the Julia Morgan House. And I'll take a quick peek at that and, you know, enjoy it. And there are 4 houses in Petaluma that she designed. And so I want to go kind of out to that area and check those out, because it's kind of like a roundabout way, and there's no other day on this trip that I think would be a good day to go check those out. And then there's one place in Sausalito that I would like to check out. And the lady that I was talking to, my host at my Airbnb, said that the City Hall in Marin County was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. He was a very influential architect at the time that Julia Morgan was also an architect. So they are contemporaries of each other. And the City Hall is his design, and it's supposed to be incredible and spectacular. And I don't think I've ever seen it. I've been to, maybe I've seen it like from the freeway and didn't know what it was. It's gonna be architect sort of day. And then I will go check into my hotel. And then my friends Evan and Nicole are gonna be picking me up around 6, and we're gonna go out to dinner and just spend time. So we're gonna spend time. Maybe we'll go do miniature golf, who knows? I'm not sure what the day is gonna look like, but hopefully between 3 and 6, depending on what time I get into Berkeley, I'll have a little bit of downtime. Because I can tell this heat is gonna make me crazy. It's hot, and I can handle heat, but being out in it, even though I have air conditioning in my car, I'm trying not to tax my car too much, so I keep the air conditioning a little lower. And it's still like this, the car still heats up. Like, even with the air conditioning, the car still gets hot when you're in 100-degree weather. There's only so much you can do. It's nice to go into buildings that have air conditioning though, because they actually get substantially cooler. So yeah, I'm feeling a little like I'm in a little hot box in my little tin car. But I'm surviving. So I'm very excited that today's 4th of July. If you're in the US and you celebrated 4th of July, because this is coming out after the 4th, let me know in the comment section down below what's one fun thing that you usually like to do on the 4th of July, or that you did this year. One thing is the details are fabulous, and Julia Morgan was known for like being super detailed and putting her all into everything she ever did. I mean, it is a bit of a bummer not to be able to tour the locations, but this house is now used for like events and weddings. So if I really, really wanted to come and check it out, I could say, hey, I'm thinking about having my wedding there. Can I tour it? But they don't do like regular tours here. So it's gorgeous. It'll be interesting to see how her style changes from location to location, because this style is more Mediterranean, and I know that that was popular at the time. So she definitely incorporated that into her work. Plus she did a lot of her training in France. She was in France for a long time, so she did a lot of work there, and she took a lot of inspiration from European designs. That's why there's a lot more intricate detail with a lot of her work. That being said, she did change her style to fit what was popular at the time, and to bring more of that California style that was specific to here. So she did kind of start changing things up, because she, you know, wanted to stay current with the times, but also she wanted it to be distinct and unique to California. Also, I kind of lied. I am currently reading a physical book. Last night I picked up The Shell Collector by Anthony Doerr. I mean, obviously aside from Wuthering Heights, I just haven't picked up Wuthering Heights. But I have this ebook of The Shell Collector, and this is going to go for my shells prompt on my bingo board, because I was like, what am I going to read for that? And Mom had picked up the shell game, and that's one that we got from my cousin, and I just wasn't in the mood for that. I was looking for something a little different. And the Shell Collector, as you can see, has a lot of wonderful shells on it. This is a short story collection, and this is the author of All the Light We Cannot See and Cloud Cuckoo Land, which I've been wanting to read, and I read part of All the Light We Cannot See, and I could tell I was just going to love his writing, and I thought, oh, short story collection, that might be kind of fun, and it'd be one of those things where I can read little bits of it here and there on the trip, and it'll work for the shells, because it's got a lot of shells on it. So the first story is called The Shell Collector, and that's what I'm currently working on, and it's, I don't know, it hasn't pulled me in quite yet, but it's about this guy who is blind. He's been blind since childhood, and he's known as the Shell Collector. And he lives in this really remote location where he basically just spends his days collecting shells and identifying them. He's also identified new sea creatures throughout his time of being a oh, I don't remember the name of the science of being a shell, like mollusks and stuff like that. I don't remember what it's called. And he went to school to get his degree in that area of science because he loved shells so much. His whole life he spent just wanting to experience and be around shells constantly and learn more and just try to discover their secrets. Well, at some point, this really incredibly poisonous cone shell affects the trajectory of his life, and he becomes well known or something. And there are these reporters that are coming to ask him questions. He does fall in love with this woman who I think just doesn't know what she wants. She ends up becoming kind of a problem, and this ties into these poisonous shells. I don't think he's going to kill her or anything like that, but I think somehow it's going to tie into this experience he has where this woman just kind of plopped in his lap and he fell in love with her, but it was a lot more complicated than that. I don't know that this is going to be my favorite short story. I love his writing. It is stunning. It is beautiful. You can tell that he has a lot of knowledge of the subject matter that he is talking about, which I love books like that. I love books where you can tell that the author has done a lot of their own research, or they just already have a lot of knowledge based off a experience. But this one's not hitting me in a way that is like getting me in the feels or is pulling me in as much as maybe other stories about other characters might. But it does have a lot of scientific aspects to it, which I do love in fiction stories, because we're getting a lot of beautiful descriptions and details about these shells. And that's really perfect for the shells prompt on my summer book bingo. So it's working out really well. Okay, I've made it to Petaluma, and this first house is up a really steep hill, so that's the one thing. Like, I'm a very confident driver, but steep hills are not my favorite thing. But I did it, and luckily there was no cars behind me, so I didn't have to feel stressed about that. And so let's go take a look. It's a house, so I feel a little awkward, like really snooping at it, but I'm gonna take a look anyways. It's actually kind of similar to the one. It's beautiful though. This one has a beautiful park right in front of it, and it is completely different than the last two. Now this would be my style house. I love yellow houses. I don't think I've ever driven around Petaluma this much. It is a stunning little city. And if you're ever in California, in the wine country, Sonoma area, and you like architecture, because every single building here is stunning, stop in Petaluma and check it out. The downtown area is super cute as well. I think I've only been here once before, and I don't think I came all around Petaluma. I think I was just like in a couple of spots where I didn't get to see as much of this, and it's stunning. It's so beautiful. I needed to cool down a little bit before wandering around the hotel and checking it out. It's the Berkeley City Club, so I think that people might be able to have memberships here as well and like use the pool and use other things here. I'm not sure. There's a restaurant, the Julie Morgan restaurant, and I get complimentary breakfast. So that's nice. So I'll get to enjoy that room. And yeah, I definitely will wander. It may not be today. Maybe I'll wander tomorrow, check out the hotel, because it's 4 now and Evan and Nicole are picking me up at 6. And I just need to cool down and rest for a little bit. I didn't end up really exploring the Sausalito Women's Club because the roads around there, it was like up in the hills, super, super hilly, 2-way, most of the time 1-way driving, like really, really like, and where the Sausalito Women's Club was, all the parking spots were taken and I couldn't really stop there. Like it just wasn't a spot where I could stop because, like I said, there were a lot of like 1-way, this way, that way, roads coming together. And it was such tight turns and such narrow roads that a car all of a sudden would come up on you and you're like, oh, gotta move to the side or something. Not scary necessarily, just there weren't a lot of places to be able to stop and just really appreciate it. So I paused there at that spot and got that little bit of clip of the top of the building, but I really didn't get a chance to go look at it. And I was tired at that point and hot. It's much cooler here in Berkeley, but it's still like high 70s and there's no air conditioning in here. I've got the fan going, but I think I'm already just hot from carrying all my luggage around and bringing it up here and figuring out what I was gonna bring, making sure everything else is hidden. Not that I'm leaving anything in my car that's really valuable, but I just don't want people to think there is something valuable in there and then break into it just to see what it is. So yeah, just, I'm tired. I'm currently 26% of the way through The Girl Who Drank the Moon, so I'm making good progress in that one and still just loving the dialogue that's created, loving the writing. It's so whimsical. It's a really, really whimsical writing style, and I'm just loving that. Kelly Barnhill, that's the name of the author. This story is about this little village that's next to the bog, or the Protectorate is what it's called. And there are these frightened people who live by the whims of the elders. And is it the elders? I don't know. They're the people who are in charge. And they're the ones who have determined that there is a witch in the forest, which there is a witch in the forest, and that if they don't appease this witch every year by supplying her with a tribute, as in the form of a baby, then everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong in the Protectorate. It will cause the whole community to die and suffer because of various reasons. So the people believe that they have to sacrifice a child every single year to this witch. And we have this woman who has to give up her child, and she is just horrified and tormented, and they end up locking her away in a tower because everybody else accepts that they have to sacrifice a child. This child is picked up by the witch, and we start getting the witch's perspective. And she goes to pick up these children every single year because she's like, the Protectorate always leave their children at this one spot every single year. They leave a child, and I just feel so sorry for the child. If I don't pick up this child, an animal's gonna eat it. So I always make sure that I go rescue these kids, and then I find them really nice homes in other villages that are not part of the Protectorate. There's something different about this child. And she usually feeds the children starlight, which makes them healthy and happy and good, and then she finds them a new home. Well, this child, she accidentally feeds moonlight, which gives magical properties to whoever consumes the moonlight. And she decides to keep the child. And then this is where the story goes from there, and all the problems with giving a child moonlight. There's a lot of issues that come about, let's put it that way. The cast of characters in this is fantastic. There is the witch, and then there is the bog monster, and he's like the best character. And then there's this little tiny, teeny tiny dragon that's about the size of a pigeon. And he's so cute too. They warm my heart. These characters are so wonderful. I'm just absolutely loving them. Really having a blast listening to it. And if it wasn't for my phone that wants to just keep dying because I'm using, the navigator and stuff, I would have listened to a lot more of it. Smile and wave. It's a video. Oh. this wall color's not doing anything for my skin tone. I'm back for the evening, and I had such a good time with Evan and Nicole. It was wonderful. First, we went to a tapas restaurant that they had never been to before here in Berkeley, and it was really good. It was really, really good. And then we ended up going to this other place called U Dessert, and it had a whole bunch of really fun desserts. And it actually fulfills one of my activity prompts, because I was thinking about, like, how do I want to handle iced? And I was like, well, in the summer, it is so fun to get, like, shaved ice. I'm not a fan of regular shaved ice, but like those fancy shaved ices, that's a lot of fun. And those are all the rage these days. Sorry, there's a lot of noise outside. There's fireworks and a really loud motorcycle revving its engine. You saw the volcano, right? That was shaved ice, and it was so, so good. And it was refreshing. It was really refreshing because it's not as hot here in Berkeley, but it's still I'm a little toasty. And none of the places here have air conditioning. So it's fine because normally they don't need it, but it's still I'm a little warm. You know, Washingtonian here now. I mean, no longer Californian. Now I'm a Washingtonian. So anyways, I can color the activity for iced, which means that I have 2 activities in a row diagonally. So I could potentially get a bingo, because fruit, I'm planning on fulfilling that when I go down to Los Angeles, because I used to, when I lived down in Los Angeles, I loved getting the fruit at the little stands where they would put the tahini on it and the lime juice and all the good stuff. And we used to do that. My boyfriend and I used to do that all the time. We'd go get the watermelon in a little thing with all the goodies in it. And I'm going to do that because it'll be delicious and nostalgic. And I think it fits that fruit prompt really well. And then for the beach, I was like, ooh, explore a new beach. But while I'm down there, since my aunt is coming from Poland, she's never been there before, my dad wants to do a whole bunch of things. So maybe we'll get a chance to go to Venice Beach, because Venice Beach is really popular and famous. I've been there before, but it would be an appropriate activity, I think, for my summer book bingo. So I will be able to get that crossed off down in Los Angeles, hopefully, as well. And then I'll be able to get a bingo diagonally. Also, there's no desk in here, so I've done a makeshift desk with the ironing board. It works really well, actually. So I've got my computer and my mouse. I can do my editing here. Anyways, let's get this colored in. So yeah, here I even said fancy shaved ice or a Slurpee, because I haven't had a Slurpee in years. So that might be fun too. We got the volcano thingy, which was really, really good. Really refreshing. That's what we needed. It had like brownie bits in it, and of course it has the condensed milk on top of it, and the ice was super, super fine, like little teeny tiny things of ice. It was really fun. So yeah. Oh, and then when I came in here this evening after I got dropped off by Nicole and Evan, I was wandering around the first floor of the hotel because the lights were all on in all the different rooms, but there wasn't anybody around. And it was like dim lighting, but it was really pretty. It's a gorgeous building with a whole bunch of cute little nooks and crannies. So I'm gonna do some more exploring tomorrow. But it was also just nice to explore when there was nobody around. And it was just quiet and, you know, had the feelings like it could be haunted, although I don't think this place is, but if it was, this would be a good time to find ghosts. I do need to continue working on my day 1 vlog though, so that's what I'm going to work on now, get that done, get that posted, and then hopefully read a little bit. I'm not sleepy right now, so hopefully read a little bit. We'll see. It takes a while to edit my vlog. So I'll let you go here. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens tomorrow. Or yeah, I'll probably vlog tomorrow, so you can see what happens tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.